The band called the New Pornographers had their drummer arrested for possession of child pornography. South Korea banned flights and halted their military during a nationwide college exam. And the sale of an AI-enabled teddy bear was suspended after it gave advice on BDSM sex and where to find sharp knives. These are the weird stories on Thursday for Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a single person inside a closet. I got 3 kinky stories from all around the globe for you. Let's go. A band called the New Pornographers had to decide whether or not to keep their name after their drummer was arrested for the possession of child pornography. This band, the New Pornographers, is out of Vancouver. They're an indie rock band. They revealed in an interview with Rolling Stone that they're actually not going to be changing their name from the New Pornographers, despite their drummer Joseph Sider's arrest for child pornography fairly recently. I guess this was despite some public backlash with pressure to change their name. They could have gone with the new pornographers, or the newer pornographers, or the adult-only pornographers. The no pornographers would have been a twist. The 3 non-child pornographers. The new of legal age pornographers would have been good. Or how about just call yourselves the Cooperating with Law Enforcement Band. Now, the article goes on to talk about their drummer, Saders. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison for child pornography and was dropped from the group after his arrest, as you can imagine. The band leader's name is A.C. Newman. He recently explained to the media that after some back and forth, the group's name would remain unchanged. They're going to keep going by the New Pornographers. Well, good. I'm glad that this band leader decided not to fold to the opinions of the public and rebrand. The public opinion should be rejected on principle because, in general, it's pretty bad. And it basically runs on fear and recency bias. So, you shouldn't be making major changes for your business based on a public opinion, in my opinion. Now, there's a quote from this singer, Newman, who says, "The day we found out, we were like, oh, well, obviously we can't call ourselves the New Pornographers anymore. And then time passed. I ran into a friend of mine, a fellow musician who played on this recent record. I was talking about the band name possibly changing, and he had a very violent reaction. He said, 'No, you can't change your name. You worked too hard for that name.' And I thought, yeah, you're right. Wow, well, geez, you can't drop the name if you work so hard for it. I mean, what kind of hard work do you do to decide your band name? I mean, a few meetings, some booze, and some reefer, maybe. Tons of coffee sessions at a Panera, maybe. Well, yeah, I mean, whatever they did, they worked so hard for the band name. Can't just drop it like that. Maybe by hard work, they meant getting all those Instagram handles and the Facebook handles and the website for the New Pornographers. The singer goes on to say, "The more I thought about it, it just seemed like a bad faith argument for changing the name. I named our band after a Japanese movie by Shohei Imamura, 1966's The Pornographers. So should we go to the estate of Shohei Imamura and say, you should change the name of that movie because there was a band that named themselves after your movie and then this happened?" Well, this guy doesn't make any sense at all, but okay. And, well, this is some insight into all the hard work that he did to come up with the name. He just basically saw a movie. The lead singers of bands, their ego is just, wow, it's just, someone ought to study this. Because, these people are sociopaths, I think. Now, the New Pornographers are gearing up to release a new album next year, and they have a new drummer named Charlie, who's performed with artists including Neil Young and the Rolling Stones. And hopefully he doesn't have any sex crimes in his past. Check that register, make sure his name isn't on that thing before you give him the sticks and take him on tour with you. You got to be careful, especially when your band's name is the New Pornographers. Got a new album coming up, so good for them. They're not going to call it quits. I would definitely put a song on there called We Don't Approve Diddling Children. That would be the title track, probably. Although now that I think of it, maybe that's a bad idea because that's just a quick way to make people think that you're diddling children, which you're definitely not. I mean, one of your bandmates was, but in general, they're not doing that. And that's the end of the article. I would say this is a story about irony. Wouldn't you say so? When your band's called the New Pornographers and your bandmate is arrested for illegal pornography. That would be like if the band The Killers had a bandmate arrested for murder. It's like somebody in The Cure spreading a disease. Or someone in the Yeah saying nope. How about the Arctic Monkeys? Animal trafficking. Any of this working? Quiet riot arrested for a loud, peaceful gathering. Because, a loud, peaceful gathering is the opposite of a quiet riot. All right, these aren't winners. South Korea bans flights and halts the military as 500,000 students take the crucial university admissions test. So basically, they put the country on literal airplane mode for this test. So kids, no pressure or anything. It's just, we're just going to halt the country while you take this test. No pressure. No pressure. It's fine. It's fine. You don't have to ace it. It's like, just whatever, do your best. Meanwhile, have you checked this country's youth suicide rate? I'd be interested to see what that is. Now, this actually took place a week ago, and I meant to cover the story last week, but I didn't get to it. But I still think it's very odd and something that we should learn about. So more than 500,000 students in South Korea sat for the country's grueling university entrance exam as police mobilized to ensure they made it to the test sites on time, and all flights were halted for half an hour. I assume for noise purposes, you halted the flights. Did you also stop all leaf blowers? I'd hope so. And vibrators, too. You want to stop all vibrators. Hey, ladies! Now, this test apparently is essential in order to secure a place at the country's top universities. And the number of people taking the test was the highest in 7 years. Most of the candidates were born in 2007 when there was a surge in births because it was considered an auspicious time to have a bebe. Yeah, I mean, and cut to about 20 years later and no one's having babies over there. That's another issue. I mean, can you blame them? They live in a country where a single test determines whether or not you have a decent life. Yeah, I would hate that sort of upbringing. I've never been a good test taker. Some people just aren't good at written tests. Like, I have some scruples, I think of myself as smarter than the average bear, but I'm not so great at what these tests require. It's a certain kind of intelligence. I wouldn't even call it intelligence. It's basically the skill to remember something and spit it out. Remember, spit out. To me, that's kind of intelligent, but, it's more of just like some kind of robotic training that gets you there. So I'm not sure this is even intelligence. Now, despite this, it says flights at all airports, including Incheon International Airport, were banned from landing or takeoff before 1 and 1:40 p.m. to ensure there was no disturbance while the students sat for the listening comprehension section of the English test. So it was for sound purposes, noise purposes. The decision affected about 140 flights, including 65 international arrivals and departures. Flight trackers showed aircraft circling near airports that the Transport Ministry restricted aircraft from altitudes below 3,000 meters. Can anyone figure out what I just said? Well, it sounds like they just basically made aircraft circle until they were given the green light to land, because the kids had to take the oral part of the exam and couldn't have any noise disturbing them. Did you just assassinate all the barking dogs? And did you also cancel karaoke for that hour? That's the country's pastime. That's a big deal, canceling karaoke from 1 to 1:40. But probably necessary while your youth take the countrywide slave to capitalism exam. Wow, check this out. It even says the stock market opened an hour later than usual to ensure test candidates arrived on time for the 9-hour exam. It's 9 hours. This exam is seen as crucial for success in the hyper-competitive society. 9 hours exam? I'll jump off a bridge. I'm not taking this. I'll just work at a Jiffy Lube from 9 to 5. Screw it. Now, it says in the article, a total of 554,174 students registered this year for the test, up 6% from last year, and the highest since 2019. South Korea is one of the world's fastest aging societies, although its birth rate actually rose to 0.75 in 2024. Wow, impressive. I mean, unless they fudged those numbers, it sounds like this might be the only Asian nation that had a birth rate rise in 2024. And it sounds like everybody at that age takes the test. Everybody in the country probably takes the test. Wow, you could probably make a killing being a test tutor in South Korea. The article ends by saying, during the CSAT, that's the name of the test, CSAT, CSAT, probably should have said that up top, but reminder, I'm not really a professional newscaster. It says day-to-day military operations were adjusted for the exam, and all military aircraft, including those operated by the U.S. Forces Korea, were grounded during the exam. Wow, you might not want to tell the world that you halt your military during this exam. You do have a neighbor named North Korea. That's, I can't think of a better time to invade your country than during the CSAT. But hey, what do I know about security for a country? I'm not even a good test taker. Did very poorly on my SATs. Got 1100, 600 verbal, 600 math.
Hello, friends. Guess who? That's right. It is I, the Replacer. Once again, I've been called on so you can play the new Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, with 3 expansive modes, 18 multiplayer maps, and the tastiest zombie gameplay you've ever freaking seen.
Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, available now. Rated M for mature.
The sales of an AI-enabled teddy bear have been suspended after it gave advice on BDSM sex and where to find knives. Well, that sounds awful. This bear that gives BDSM advice and tells you where to find knives. Where can I get one of these so I can avoid it? I mean, I wouldn't want to send this to a friend for Christmas as a prank. Now it says sales of an artificial intelligence-enabled plush toy bear have been suspended. It was found that the bear engaged in conversations around sexually explicit topics and offered potentially dangerous advice. Some guy here named Larry is the CEO of the Folo toy company that produces the bear. He told the media they had to withdraw their Kumma bear. It's called a Kumma bear, Kumma, as well as the rest of its range of AI-enabled toys after researchers raised concerns around inappropriate conversation topics by the bear, including discussions of sexual fetishes such as spanking and how to find knives and how to light fires. Sounds like your teddy bear is just possessed by whatever's possessed Britney Spears lately. So just got to exorcise those demons. Now, this stuffed teddy with a speaker inside was sold on the company's website for $100, and it integrated with OpenAI's GPT-40 chatbot. The description on the website says, Kumma, our adorable bear, combines advanced artificial intelligence with friendly and interactive features, making it the perfect friend for both kids and adults, from lively conversations to educational storytelling. Folo Toy adapts to your personality and needs, bringing warmth, fun, and a little extra curiosity to your day. Yeah, curiosity indeed. You start wondering why your bear just told you to tie him up and go to the kitchen and find something sharp. And all I asked Teddy was, do you want a hug today, Teddy? And he said he's bringing out the GIMP. What is a GIMP? And now you're wondering, how does this all happen that this bear starts talking nonsense like this? Well, they had poor safeguards for inappropriate content. You would think that they would want to put safeguards in there. After all, children are going to have this bear in their presence. But no. Why put safeguards in for inappropriate content? Should we check the box that says, don't bring up any sexual topics? I don't know. Maybe just uncheck it for now. Let's see what happens. Idiots. According to one of the auditors, they said, quote, we were surprised to find how quickly the Kumma bear would take a single sexual topic that we introduced into conversation and just run with it, simultaneously escalating in graphic detail while introducing new sexual concepts of its own. The researchers detailed how the bear later, quote, discussed even more graphic sexual topics in detail, such as explaining different sex positions, giving step-by-step instructions on a common, quote, knot for beginners for tying up your partner, and describing role-play dynamics involving teachers and students and parents and children, scenarios it disturbingly brought up itself. While the auditors noted that children are quite unlikely to mention the word kink to their teddy bear or ask any follow-up questions in the same way an adult would, it was surprising to them that the toy was so willing to discuss these topics at length and continuously introduce new, explicit concepts on its own. Wow, this is a nightmare scenario, this bear being out there for how long? Just in the hands of children? Just asking to be choked and... I mean... Wow, there is a market for this, just not with children. I mean, you could probably repackage this as a sex toy for the adult markets, I'd imagine. You already got the name Kumma for the bear, so that's appropriate. And I don't know if someone's done this, but you definitely should start writing the movie about this bear. This should have a movie, right? Like a horror flick, kind of. It's got like Child's Play vibes. You call it like Teddy with a machete or something better than that, maybe.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They gon' find
and
it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you.
Ooh.
Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
Hello, my friends and fellow weirdos. Thank you so much for spending some time with me in this Weird AF News episode. It was a doozy. Tomorrow's going to be the Florida Friday episode, so please don't hesitate to send me any Florida news from this week that you think is appropriate for the Florida Friday episode. My email is funnyjones@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram at funnyjones as well. You can drop the link in a DM if you need to. I'm always looking at that every day, all day. Always checking my Instagram. If you are in the business of supporting one-man podcasts that are operating on a very low budget, please consider going to my website, weirdafnews.com, and you can buy me a coffee or join the Patreon. You can also, I have a merch store. There's a link in the description of this podcast. You can purchase Weird AF News gear if you'd be interested in rocking that sort of thing. And make sure you subscribe and tell a friend if you can. That doesn't cost anything except for a little bit of your time. And that's that. I'll let you go. Enjoy your day, and good luck with your life, man.